King Salman bin Abdulaziz, the ruler of Saudi Arabia and head of the $1.4 trillion House of Saudi Arabia, is regarded as the world's oil tycoon. Today, we're going to reveal just how much money he spends on his various expenses. Welcome everyone to a brand new video from Moneyfellas. In this video, we take you into the travel lifestyle of the Saudi royal family. However, we would appreciate it if you subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to stay up to date with our new videos. The Saudi king wouldn't bat an eye at spending money on enjoyable vacations when he was a child, whether it be flying on 7 aircraft or bringing his own golden escalator to exit the plane. Most of us understandably assumed those tales were nothing more than fairy tales if we had ever heard of tales of ancient kings like Mansa Musa or others who traveled in golden robes. And while that is generally true, there are still a select few kings and queens who truly understand what it means to be a monarch, foremost among them being King Salman Abdulaziz. On an island he completely rented during one of his trips, the infamous Mohammed bin Salman once ordered hundreds of strippers to perform. King Salman, who is 87 years old, does not travel as frequently as he did when he was younger. Nevertheless, he has snuck in a few trips in the past 10 years, the most notable of which was his most recent trip to Indonesia in 2017. Let's go over some of the main points of the journey. Let's start with the king. King Salman doesn't travel alone, but he enjoys going too far, unlike other prominent people. He brought more than 1,000 people with him to Indonesia, not just a few dozen or a few hundred, and they all arrived in a fleet of 7 aircraft, including Boeing 747s, 757s, and a Lockheed C-130 Hercules transport plane. That only lasted for 9 days, though. You would be mistaken if you believed that this was the end of the story, as the king also brought a lot of baggage. You're wondering how much? He brought more than 500 tons in a shipload. Not one, but 2 Mercedes were packed inside of this luggage, which together weighed more than 200 elephants. Now I understand how you and I always hope there won't be any other tourists where we intend to go when we travel. It turns out that even government officials have that mindset occasionally, but they differ from us in that they also want the locals to leave, in addition to the tourists, and they have the power to make that happen. In addition to his customary large entourage and tight security, Dr. Salman visited the south of France in 2015 and had an entire beach closed off for his personal enjoyment and safety. King Salman decided to make a villa on the Mediterranean coast in the charming town of Valors, his residence during a visit coordinated with the French government, which for the past 3 years has been cultivating new ties with Saudi Arabia and other Arab Gulf countries to improve their business relations with these places. The same location where legendary actress Rita Hayworth celebrated her marriage to Prince Ali Khan in 1949, has interestingly also been chosen by other high-profile tourists. As would be expected, King Salman traveled there with a large entourage of 1,000 people, including servants, princes, and people of a similar caliber, and as a result the neighborhood received a lot of attention from the media, which benefited the community's economy. But a few days later, he cut short the 3-week visit to depart for Morocco. So what could have happened to ruin this otherwise perfect trip? At the time of his visit, King Salman was 80 years old and therefore had trouble walking. He therefore prefers to bring complete elevators that he can assemble and disassemble at will with him when he travels. He also put in a set of these elevators that lead to the beach in front of the villa. Before that, the king went to Russia, where he brought his iconic golden escalator and also had 800 kilograms of food brought from his hometown every day. Trump stayed during their trips, but even they did not book the entire building off. He did the same when he rented out every 222 rooms at the Four Seasons Hotel Washington, D.C. in Georgetown for a state visit to the U.S. in 2015. The king's son, Prince Mohammed bin Salman, is not only following in his father's footsteps, but surpassing him in terms of how lavish it can be. Let's talk about that now. But that doesn't mean the king's regent doesn't travel with the same pomp and circumstance, even when it's for work, as during his recent visit to Pakistan, a longtime ally of Saudi Arabia. During his flight through Pakistani airspace, the prince's aircraft was escorted by a squadron of the Pakistan Air Force, SJF-17 and F-16. The prince decided to visit everyone's favorite West Coast city, the one and only Los Angeles, to tell Hollywood executives about his country. As if his importance wasn't already sufficiently highlighted by this point, he was welcomed by the nation's prime minister upon arrival and traveled with him to the prime minister's residence. Finally, there was the moment when the prince decided to travel to Pakistan from Pakistani airspace. It's shocking to learn that he has actually done that before, and while he and his entourage were in town for a conference, he did the same thing at the Plaza Hotel in New York City. Earlier that year, he traveled to France for 3 days, and while his luggage wasn't as much as his father's, it was still more than a literal truckload. So this was our today's video. I hope you all liked this video. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe our channel. And also share with your friends and family. We will be back soon with a new video. Till then, keep supporting and take care.